slay. Here we slay, we slay, we slay, we slay, we slay being our own individual selves.
Disclaimer, this content is based on my personal experience. I am not an expert. However, I am an expert in my own life journey. The purpose of this video is, however, to let those who went through the same thing I went through, and I was going to let them know you ain't alone and you ain't weird. So sit tight and enjoy the video.
What up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Equipped with Greatness with Maka. So as I talked about it in my first video, my intro video, that I identify as a TCK. So what is that? What is a TCK, Maka, you might ask? What the hell is such thing as a TCK? Like, what are you talking about, Maka? Tell us. Well, a TCK stands for Third Culture Kid. That's right, Third Culture Kid. So it means, so when you meet someone or a friend or you know a family member who's like, I'm a TCK. Or maybe they're a TCK and they don't know. Maybe you're a TCK and you don't even know. Well, you've come to the right video. I'ma help you. I got your back. Anyway, so Third Culture Kids is basically an individual who was born in a certain country where people would say that's where you're originally from. So like me, I was born in Zimbabwe. I was originally born in Zimbabwe. I was raised there for a little bit, and then I moved here to New Zealand when I was younger. So when you ask me where I'm from, I'm like, can't tell you that, because even though I grew up a little bit in Zimbabwe for like 10 years, I moved here and I spent 10 years here too. But anyway, that doesn't matter. So TCK just refers to anybody who basically doesn't really, it's like they don't really feel at home where they are, because like their background is full of like, their background is a mesh of cultures. It could be 2 cultures or more, or even like 5 cultures, and they're just like, I have put all those cultures together because they raised me. They're who I am today. I cannot imagine me growing without these different cultures or without being raised in this background. Like for me, yes, I was born in Zimbabwe, but I don't feel like a Zimbabwean because I didn't really grow there. I grew when I was young, but I didn't really feel like I belong there.
Because now I live in New Zealand and I don't really feel like I belong here because I wasn't born here. But when I go back home, it's like I don't feel like I'm home because I didn't really grow up here enough to know the culture, you know.
But even though I picked up some things, I also meshed it up with being a Kiwi in New Zealand. So I know that was a long explanation, but hopefully that kind of makes sense. Yeah, so that's what being a TCK is. And basically the main problem that we have as a TCK is it's just finding someone to relate to. It's really hard to find someone for some reason, because we have grew up all these years not fitting into one culture, means we had to adopt.
Yo, people, I meant to say adapt. I swear I went to school. Please don't sue me.
And just create our third culture. Like the third culture is a mixture of all the cultures that we have been exposed to in our lives. So that's what it means to be a third culture kid. It means you've made your own culture from the 2 different backgrounds. So hopefully, I'm hoping this will help any parent who's also raising a kid who's being moved, to help them understand what's happening in their head.
Because my parents, when I was growing up, when I explained to them, they didn't understand. They were like, what? You crazy? You're Zimbabwe. You're born in Zimbabwe. Well, they didn't get it.
Because they weren't raised in 2 different cultures. They didn't have to adopt. Like,
apparently your girl doesn't know how to say adapt, so as we go into this video, I'm still saying adapt, whatever. I'm sorry. Just you know what I'm saying.
Like, we have to learn to adopt into the cultures. When I would go to school and I had some Kiwi friends, I had some Maori friends, so I had to adopt to being a Kiwi in New Zealand so that I could relate to other people, so that other people can understand me better. And then when I would go home, it would be Zimbabwean, it would be Shona. And then I came to a point in my teenage years where I realized that I shouldn't have to change the way I feel just because of certain groups that I hang out with because they don't understand what being a TCK is like. So that's when I decided to embrace both cultures and be like, you know what, it's okay. I took some things from being a Zimbabwean, I took some things from being a Kiwi, and it made me me. It made me who I am. It makes me unique. And actually, I think it's a great advantage to be being a TCK, because then you are able to fit in all the different groups. Like for me, I didn't belong in any group when I went to high school. I just hung out with people and we worked together, because you become really good at adapting situations, or just whether it be relating to other people and other cultures. I found that it was easy to do that. But even though it was difficult, it is sadly one of the difficult things of being a TCK, that it's hard to find friends if you're someone who's constantly moving. And I have had friends who are TCKs who've actually had it way worse.
Not meaning to say that being a TCK and traveling is terrible, but I was just meaning it in the sense that some people did find it really hard to make friends, especially when you're constantly moving, like I will say.
Than me, who have been raised in like 9 different countries. And they're like, I don't know who I am and stuff. So we actually have a camp here in New Zealand called TCK, and they go to camping where TCK kids come and camp together and it's a great opportunity to make friends and stuff. Yeah, so I've talked about what is being a TCK and why. When you ask me, I'm not gonna say I'm a New Zimbabwean or a Kiwi. I'm both. There's no way to explain it. It's a feeling. I can't fit into either boxes. I can only fit into this box of the combination of the two. And I've learned over time that it's nothing. Don't feel guilty that other people, your parents or your family, won't understand, or that other people you meet are like, are you disowning your country? Is that what you mean? So what you're saying, I disown your culture? No, that's not it. That is not it. That's not true. Seriously, because I had to battle this for ages, and it affected my identity, my cultural identity. Every time someone asks me where I'm from, I get shut down when I'm like, I get confused, I get shut down. One of the other challenges we face on a day-to-day basis as a TCK is being asked, where are you from? Because when you ask us that question, it's like,
What goes on in our mind is like, are they saying where do I feel most at home? What's my culture? Where was I born? Or where do I live in? Where have I lived?
The best way I have found, actually I made up an answer for my answer, which is I'm a Zimbabwean Kiwi. If they ask me where I'm from, I'm like, I'm a Zimbabwean Kiwi. That's how I'm most comfortable answering that question. So you have to find a question that's most comfortable for you.
Correction, you have to find an answer that feels like you. Like, this is totally you. Like, you're like, damn, that's me.
You, that makes you feel like, this is me. Like, yeah, this is me. Like, I feel like I'm a Zimbabwean Kiwi. I'm both a Zimbabwean, born in Zimbabwe. I'm both a Kiwi because I did my high school. I literally am on my 11th year living here in New Zealand, which means now I have lived a decade in Zimbabwe and a decade in New Zealand. So yeah, and honestly, I've learned that it is not my problem when people are not gonna understand where I'm from. It's not my problem. And if they can't get with the new times, this new generation, because like you would think that people like are aware that there are heaps of interracial couples who are TCKs or who've just raising kids with 2 different backgrounds. So it's just like that. Yeah, so that's one of questions that I hate anyway. And one thing that I don't like is when I'm filling out forms, they ask me what my ethnicity is.
Ethnicity, aka known as ethnic group, is a group of humans based on people who identify with each other based on shared history, language, culture, traditions, beliefs, etc. Now you might be thinking, she looks African. Why does she think she's not African? Yes, I am African. I'm African. I have got Zimbabwean culture in me. Now I've got New Zealand culture in me. So, yeah.
I literally have a panic attack. Like, I'm just like, do I say I'm from Zimbabwe? Do I say I'm African? I mean, I don't feel African. I look African. I know everyone's going to think I look African. Now you're probably wondering, this is, you've never heard of being TCK, and what does this have to do with me living in 2021? Like, what does it have to do with me? I don't know anybody. If you're someone who don't know anybody, you're like, what the hell, what is she talking about? Well, let me tell you, because there is a real sense of from my perspective as a TCK, that a lot of people are having trouble comprehending what it means, or they're just shutting us down, which is, they don't realize, but it does really play a big part in our identity. And it's 2021, and we're bringing awareness that there are kids who are living in countries where they weren't born in, and they are families who are where there's a black who marries a white, or someone from Congo marries a Zimbabwean, and that it's okay to be both from where your mom comes from, or from where your dad comes from, or from both the 2 or 10 places you've lived in, to be okay from all of them. Because the thing is, that's the most important thing that I have learned, that I have understood, is that home is where you make it. Okay, home is where you make it home. And if you feel at home at both, just say both. And if you feel at home at all of them, just say, oh, if you just feel at home be living on earth, then just say, I'm an earth inhabitant. So anyway, I just want to bring awareness that it is okay, and it's a thing, especially to the older generation out there. It is a thing. And to someone who is my age or younger, I hope this really helps you understand a loved one that you know who's like, I'm a TCK, or a friend that you know who you're having a hard time relating to because they're a TCK. Hopefully you have a better understanding of who they are and where they stand with their identity. Yeah, so like I always say on my videos, if you want to say hi to me, or you just want someone to write to, I have linked my details down below, so feel free to do that. And I would love to hear if you're a TCK, I'd love to hear what you think about this. So just comment down below what you think. And lastly but not least, don't forget to slay, because you were born to slay, being you, slay that smile, slay that body.